Now today we're talking about trying to get power into your shots, and one of the big key moves that you need to get some sort of power is a transitional move. Now we always talk about rotation of the body, and then there's one thing that we don't like to talk about too much as coaches, but it is also an essential key in getting power from the right side to the left side, and that's a little bit of a lateral movement. Now when you take your backswing, we create what we would call a lot of rotation, and we're trying to stay extremely centered. But when we're starting to move towards a target, there is one move that you'll see all key tour players make before they get to the top of the backswing, and that's a transition from the right side to the left side. Now how you do that is totally up to you. There's a lot of coaches out there that talk about the lead side knee movement. One thing that I try to think about and teach my students is what I would call pushing from the right instep. So you're starting to get a little bit of a lateral slide. Now the lateral movement only happens from the hips down. I'm not trying to get a massive movement from the top of my body, but I am trying to get a definite movement where we're shifting weight or shifting pressure from our right side to our left side. And the way I like to think of it is going from the instep of the right foot, and we're shifting. The other key move that needs to happen with that is what I would call the left side of our body moving backwards, or our left side of our hip going towards and away from the target in a diagonal direction. So if you add a little bit of what I would call the pressure from the right instep, as well as a bit of a rotational motion, you're going to start to get that pressure shifting onto your left side. Now when you're doing that, it's a big important factor that you do not start to bring the club from the top of your swing. You're trying to leave that golf club at the top of your swing as you're trying to make that transition, and that's what we start to call getting the X factor, or the stretch in between the left side hip and your upper body. And the bigger you create that extension, the more power you're going to get into the ball. So I think the big thing that I'm trying to emphasize here is once you get to the top of the swing, or you're starting to get to the top of the swing, you need to get a pressure shift from your right side to your left side. Ensure that you're not moving away in your backswing. You really want to make sure that you're staying extremely centered in your backswing, and then as you're getting to the top of your backswing, you're creating a lower half shift towards a target, and then from there you're just going to rotate your hips through, and that's going to pull your upper body and your golf club through impact. And if you get it right, it should look something like this. Perfect, on the green. So try and work on that shift, understand that shift. There is a little bit of a lateral movement towards a target in transition, but make sure that once you've created that lateral movement, you've then got to rotate, and that's going to pull your upper body and that golf club through the golf ball. Make sure that when you're transitioning, you're not rushing that golf club back to impact.